in, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. You know, step from the NBK. Born and raised up NBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?
Dope Soul.
What?
Your soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Salute, Knicks family. Welcome to the channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk, Dope Soul Knicks Talk, a member of the NBK family. The Knicks won what I consider to be a raggedy, uneven game, but they won 119 to 113 versus the Indiana Pacers, who were one up in the Eastern Conference standings on the Knicks coming into the game. So how are we feeling about this win? I know there's some fraction of the fan base who feels like if you have a 20-point lead or 18-point lead or whatever it is, you need to hold on to that lead. And there's another fraction of the fan base in which I am a part who believes just win. There are things that obviously every team in the NBA has to work out. No doubt about it. But you win and you work those things out as you go along. Right? So we've seen the Knicks blow these big leads and lose. Last night, they answered every call. Every time Indiana made a run, they were able to get a key basket and stay in the game. Indiana never led in this game. They got as close as 2, but they never led in the game. And to me, that's progress given how the Knicks would have lost a game like this early in the season. So just when, Tibbs is smart enough, any coach is smart enough. When I coached, at the end of the game, I would say, look, we had 14 turnovers. We won the game, but if we think we're going to be a championship level team or we're going to make the playoffs, we're going to have to get better in that respect. So I'm sure that's something that they're talking about. But the best place to be is to not play your best and win, right? It's on tape. The Knicks know what they need to do to get better. They know that there's certain teams they're not going to be able to get away with this, with playing like this. They understand that. But if you can win while you're learning, that's the best place to be. Anyway, we're going to get more into it. Shout out to everyone that's in the chat who's joining me this morning and those that's going to be listening later. I appreciate it. Be sure to hang around to the end where I talk about the giveaway on tonight's weekly show. But I just want to shout out some early rises. Deron Wayne was in the building early, 8:25. Appreciate you. Geraldine McGyver was in the building early, 8:47. I appreciate you. Jeff Clafter, 9 o'clock. CC, I appreciate you. Ajay, I appreciate you. Stafford Don, I appreciate you as well. JJ. Ashley Inc. Juan Wiz from the West Coast. Always appreciate you waking up early. Cormega, Tim Smith, Kareem Grant, Parrish Duggar, I appreciate you. Cool Cal G. All right. Let's get into it. Let's just start with the setup. The Knicks came into this game 22-18 on the year, 7th in the Eastern Conference, 4-6 over their last 10 games, having lost 1. RJ Barrett was back and started, right? No ramping up like with Obi Top. But I have to say, with RJ, it was a finger injury. And so, there was nothing wrong with his legs. He was able to run and kind of stay in shape. And with Obi, it was a lower body injury. So, all right. Brunson, Grimes, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson played. I have here that RJ Barrett was out, but he played in this game. That's an error. For Indiana Pacers, they came into this game 23-18 on the season, 6th in the Eastern Conference, having won 8 of their last 10. So they were hot coming in, playing really well. Won the 2 games prior to meeting the Knicks. They started the rookie Andrew Nembhard, Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, Jalen Smith, James Turner. Miles Turner was a late scratch, and Tyrese Halliburton left in the 3rd quarter. I want to say it was a knee injury, but I don't want to get that wrong. All right, let's just get into the stats. I now check in with the chat afterwards. Brunson was Brunson. 34 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 55% from the field. Also shot very well from the free throw line. He was clutch for us as well. He was very good in the 1st quarter, but he was also good for us down the stretch. Hit some clutch shots, clutch layup over McConnell, who was giving him everything he can handle last night. Shout out to McConnell, very good defender. Also hit a 3 late in the game. So Brunson just doing Brunson things. He's proven that he's clutch, and he's been clutch for us all season, and he didn't disappoint last night. Barrett made his return, 27 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 39% from the field. He really didn't look like he missed a beat coming back. Looked like he's been playing all along. He took the most shots on the team, 23. He was inefficient from the field. So like I said, he did not miss a beat. No, I'm just kidding. RJ Barrett actually in the 10 games prior to his injury was shooting 46.5% from the field. I expect him to get back to that. In the 4th, though, he was 1 for 7, right? And then he had that boneheaded foul on the 3-point play. And you heard Clyde, he said, don't give up the 3 and don't foul. And Barrett did both. Gave up the 3, which he made, and he fouled, right? So the Knicks weren't the sharpest knife in the drawer in the 4th quarter. And we'll get back to that. RJ also ran with the second team, and I like that. I think that allows him to be featured a bit more running with the second team. Though even when he's running with the first team, he gets his shots up. So it's not like he's lost when he's playing with Randall and Brunson. I thought the Knicks got back to moving the ball. For all of those who were super concerned, which is what I suspected. When the Knicks were back at full strength, they'll get back to moving the ball. And they did a bit more of that last night. So there's no need to panic, Knick family. Randall didn't get his usual shots, 14 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 41.7% from the field. He only took 12 shots last night, but I thought that he stayed engaged throughout the entire game. He wasn't sulking because he wasn't getting the shots. He had 16 boards. He had a big block on Mathurin at a key point in the game, hit a big 3 at a key point in the game as well. But he had 6 turnovers. 6 turnovers. He had 1 more turnover than he had field goal attempts, right? So he has to get better in that regard. And I think he knows it. And quite frankly, that's an aberration. When was the last time he had 6 turnovers? His turnovers have actually been down this season. But last night just wasn't a good showing as far as that is concerned. Now, don't get me wrong. On those double teams, when he's trying to pass out the double teams, he is getting hacked. He's getting hacked. No call. But it is what it is. You still have to be better. You cannot turn the ball over. Grimes, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, shot 54.5% from the field. This was a very good game from Grimes. He's up and down. Some games, you're going to get 2 points. Other games you might get 18, 14, 15. He's been scoring a bit more consistently as of late. But for me, Grimes in the scoring, I'm just going to give a pass as far as consistency is concerned. Quickly has been in the league 4 years, just now becoming consistent. RJ, 4 years. He turned the corner maybe somewhere in the 3rd season where we began to know what we're going to get from him each and every night. We know Grimes' skill set, but as far as the consistency, it takes some time in this league where you know what you're going to get from a player game in and game out. Grimes is on his way. Last night was a big game for him. That shot with, I believe it was 16 seconds left, was a key shot for us. When he got the ball, I think it was underneath the basket. He could have easily laid it up. I'm talking about the first time. He knew that time was more important than the basket. He brought the ball back out. Just a very heady play. I loved how he played last night. And I just want to talk a little bit about IQ. Wasn't his best shooting game. He played 26 minutes, 11 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 33.3% from the field, 1 for 7 from 3, 14.3% from the 3. But everybody's going to talk about the big 3-pointer that Grimes hit with 16 seconds left. But don't forget who passed him the ball, right? IQ was isolated at the top of the key with a big, right? He took him to the basket, which is what he was supposed to do. Do not pull up for a 3 in that situation. He went right to the basket, which is what he was supposed to do. And he didn't force up a floater. He didn't force up a shot. He didn't fake to try to get fouled so he can go to the line. He saw Grimes in the corner and he passed it to him. And that's the maturity of IQ, who's just really blossoming this season, right? I just love the way he's playing as of late. He wasn't in the starting lineup. I don't know if that had anything to do with him not shooting well. I think it was just a bad game. Let me know, what you think about that. But he didn't shoot well, but I thought Quickly played well. I thought his defense was on point as usual. And I just think that play, that pass to Grimes with 16 seconds left, that showed his maturity. So I really love the way he's playing. Overall, in terms of the bench, again, 9-man rotation. In that second unit now is Quickly, Hartenstein, Obi, and Miles McBride. Other than Quickly, who played 26 minutes, Obi Toppin, Miles McBride played less than 10 minutes. And I think that's just the way it's going to be going down the stretch. And when I look at those guys, I'm not sure you're going to get more from Hartenstein or McBride in more minutes. I don't really think so. But you probably can get more from Obi Toppin with more minutes. But where are the minutes coming from? Where are the minutes coming from? The way Randall has been playing this season, you're not going to play Randall 30 minutes, right? And I just don't think, even if you were to up Toppin's minutes, I think you would get a little bit more from him. But you're not going to get what you would get from Julius Randle in those same minutes. So I just think this is the way it's going to be. And I said that. I said when Obi comes back, he was averaging 17 minutes before the injury. I'm not so sure he's going to get back to that when he comes back because of how well Randle is playing. And that's the way it is. As far as the minutes are concerned, RJ Barrett led the team in minutes. The way he was leading the teams in minutes before he left, I believe. 41 minutes. Julius Randle, 38 minutes. I'm averaging. Mitchell Robinson, 38 minutes. Jalenbrunson actually played more than RJ Barrett, 41 and a half minutes. Quentin Grimes, 30 minutes. Quickly, 26 minutes. I think the Knicks are top heavy. It's the top 6. And everyone else who gets in the game, just do what you can do to help the team. I'm not sure you can expect those guys to help, extend the lead, or if you're down, help you get back in the game. But if they're in there and they're not making mistakes and they're playing good defense and they're rebounding and they're holding it down until the starters can get back, I think that's all you can really ask for them. RJ, like I said earlier, is running with the second team, so that helps, right? So usually you'll have Quickly, you'll have RJ, you'll have McBride, you'll have iHeart, and you have Obi Toppin, right? It's not a bad look. It's not a bad look. And that team, spreads the floor out, moves things around. So it is what it is. For right now, the Knicks are not the only team in the NBA who doesn't have a great bench. you know? So I think we are going to get outscored pretty much every game because Quickly is the only one. Maybe you'll get something from Obi that you can expect to score in that second, in that second team. All right. Before I get into team stats, let me check in with the chat. Players with dead legs and out of breath don't usually execute. Paris Duggar, look at the minutes in the league. And I believe it was Severink. Shout out to Severink. I believe it was him. I appreciate you guys commenting on the video. I may not get to them right away, but I do get to them. And he pointed out that Randall is the only player in the entire NBA in the top 30 in minutes played. So, and we'll talk about this also when we're talking about losing leads. We watch the Knicks closely. We watch them game in and game out. But if you look around the league, the same thing is happening around the league. Randall is 30th. And this was a few days ago. I don't know where he is now. He was 30th in minutes in the NBA. Right? Guys plays these type of minutes on teams, especially when you don't have a stout bench. Right? So you're going to bring Randall's minutes down. You're going to put Obi Toppin in. You're going to lose the lead, or it's going to be difficult for you to get back in the game if you're down because Obi Toppin is not going to give you what Randall is giving you at this point in the season. Maybe there was another time when maybe that was the case. It's not the case now. So no, you shouldn't be tired. Every other team is playing the same way. Why are you tired? And the other teams can execute down the stretch, right? Nobody else on the Knicks is in the top 30 in minutes played. And this was as of maybe 5 days ago. Maybe something has changed. So I'm not going to use that. I hear what you're saying, Paris Duggar, but I'm not using that as an excuse for the Knicks down the stretch. Sherwin, I appreciate you. Hope all is well with you and your family. We must make some trades for better bench players. I agree. Paris Duggar, a 6-man rotation. Let's be real. Look around the league. It's a 9-man rotation, but those guys are not getting a lot of minutes. Quentin Grimes played 30 minutes. Mitchell Robinson played 38 minutes. Randall, 38. All right. Barrett and Brunson was over 40. So if a 6-man rotation is not going to get it, then the Knicks need to go out and get some other players they can put in the rotation. Because if your argument, Paris, is that we need to give Hartenstein and McBride and Obi Toppin more minutes, I disagree. Maybe Obi Toppin. But the Obi Toppin is not, for me, about talent. It's about the more minutes he gets, the less minutes Randall's get. And to me, that's a net negative, in my opinion. Right? So maybe you expand the rotation and you put Sims in the rotation. What are you going to get from Sims? He's going to play really good defense. But on the offensive end, you're not going to get much, right? So who are we expanding the rotation for on this particular team? Now, I would like to see Fournier back in this rotation. Doesn't seem to be happening. I would like to see Cam play. It doesn't seem to be happening. So if we're going to expand the rotation, it's going to be with players that are not yet on this team. Okay. Ashley Inc., for those who want no criticism of the games, why have recaps? We can just send love after every win. Shut up and dribble, right? And it's true. It's true. That's why you have the recaps, to talk about the game and for us to disagree. We don't have to agree. Just don't be disagreeable and disrespectful. We just disagree, and that's totally fine. Shout out for the super chat, Paris Duggar. You always supporting, and all of these podcasts, you always giving the super chats to support the channel. We appreciate you. Sitting Grimes in the fourth quarter can't become the norm. What's the alternative? It's you either closing with Grimes or you're closing with IQ, right? Because Brunson, RJ, Randall, and Mitchell are going to be in the game, right? So I don't think it's a bad decision to close with Quickly, who's used to closing, used to being in that situation, has the experience, right? What I do like is that as the game went on and they went super small, they had Matherin at the 4, I believe. Then Grimes came in the game. But if you're playing both Quickly and Grimes, that means RJ, Mitch, or Randall have to sit, right? So it's going to be one of those guys for the most part. Had they not gone small, I'm not sure you would have seen both of those guys in the game, right? So I don't think it's a bad call to close with the guy who has the experience and has been super consistent over these past 5 games, much more consistent than Grimes has been, right? So I don't think that was a bad call at all. Grimes has been consistent. All right, scoring the ball. He has not been consistent scoring the ball. All right, we already know his defense, similar to Mitch. Mitch, and I'll talk about. I forgot. I don't think I talked about Mitch. Mitch does all the intangibles. Yeah, we appreciate it, but sometimes, Mitch, we want you to show up on the stat sheet as well. And last night he did. So I just want to talk about Mitch before I get back to Grimes. 10 points, 9 rebounds, 5 steals, 2 blocks, an assist. Went to the line 6 times, made 4 of them. We appreciate the intangibles of Mitch, but he showed up in the box score. Yes, Grimes is always consistent with his effort. He's always consistent defensively, but sometimes we just want you to show up in the box score. And last night he did. Listen, Grimes is one of my favorite players on the team, but just because I like a player, I'm still going to try to be even, when I talk about him. I'm still going to try to be even. IQ is not consistent. He was 1 for 7 from. All right, sure. He had a bad shooting night. I'm just saying as of late, he's been consistent. And so it wasn't a bad call to close with him. But I hear you. Stafford Don, you're just complaining for nothing. Okay. All right. That's something between them. Keith Turner, this is my whole problem with RJ, so people will stop saying I hate him because I don't even. When he has a good game and score 20 points or more, it's an ugly 20 points or more, just ugly basketball. I thought RJ Barrett played well in the first quarter. I didn't see any rust in his game. He hit his first 3-pointer. I didn't think he was forcing it. He was moving the ball. The offense just looked more open, with him back in the lineup, which is what I suspected. People was complaining about ISO ball. When you're down players, you're without RJ. Now you got to put IQ in the starting lineup. You're not getting anything from your bench. Your best players are going to take most of the shots. And that's just how it is. And it's going to be ugly. Just win. Doesn't matter to me whether it's pretty or ugly, just win. But now RJ is back. We got Obi back in the second unit, playing some minutes. Right away, you can see how the offense opened up and things were moving around. Don't panic. It's the NBA. You got to win. We're looking for perfection, and we're not looking around the league. If you look around the league, a lot of the things that's plaguing the Knicks, if you want to say that, I think it's just the process of getting better and growing as a team. It's the same thing happening with pretty much every other team in the NBA. The Knicks have the 10th best record in the entire association, tied with Indiana and Dallas. 10th. While they're still growing, while they're still trying to get better. This is the process. This is how you grow into a team. Look at Boston the first half of last season. Or was it the season before that? It might have been last season. They got better as the season went on. So we just got to give the Knicks a little break. They're growing as a team. They've had multiple injuries, multiple changes in the rotation. They are going to get better. Okay, Paris Duggar. All right. 40 minutes, well distributed but it is well distributed. It's well distributed amongst the best players on the team. You're not going to tell me you want iHeart to play 20, 30 minutes. You're not telling me you want Obi Toppin to play 20. So what do you mean by well distributed? This is not bitty basketball where everybody gets the same amount of minutes. Your best players get most of the minutes, and everybody else is in support. So when I look at this, it's well distributed for me. Maybe Quickly can get a few more minutes. He had 20, 26. Maybe we can get him over 30 and move RJ Barrett's numbers down, but RJ Barrett has to run with that second team. So it's well distributed to me. The Knicks have 6 really good players and they get the bulk of the minutes. That's well distributed to me. All right. Thank you, Keith Turner. I know everybody doesn't always agree with me, but I appreciate you guys, showing up. Sherwin, I heard Steve Smith say the Knicks have a one-man bench. I agree. All right, let's move it on. Let's not forget, I got my Giants t-shirt on, right? The Giants play a playoff game this Sunday. So for all my fellow Giant fans, let's get it. All right, team stats. Knicks out-rebounded the Pacers. The Knicks had 21 assists. We're not a high assist team. We're just not a high assist team. But last game, I think we had 16. This game, we had 21. The ball movement was a little better. The Knicks shot 45.2% from the field, shot 35.7% from the three-point line. Thank goodness the Knicks have become a better three-point shooting team over the course of the season. And the free throws are up 84.8%. And I think last game, were we in the 90s or the high 80s? So the free throw shooting has gotten much better. You want to close out games, you got to hit your free throws. Points in the paint, I'm not going to say they dominated us, but Knicks had 38. They had 54. Second chance points, only 9. Fast break points, they had 20. The Knicks had 6. And the bench points, 49 for Indiana, 16 from the Knicks. Now, again, I think this is the point Josh Uncle Fulio was trying to make. You got RJ running with the second team, so you're still scoring, right? It's not from the bench per se, but you're still scoring because you got Quick in there, you got RJ in there. So you're still scoring against the opposing team, second team, but it's not coming from the bench per se. All right. Let me just check in with the chat real quick before I get into my observation. Good teams win ugly games. If you just win the games where it looks good, you're not going to be a contender. Look at Milwaukee's win against us. Milwaukee wins a lot of ugly games because they're not a good shooting team. I think they're 26th in offense, but they're 3rd in defense, right? Think about the Knicks. When the Knicks were 4th 2 years ago, when the Knicks were 4th in defense, and I don't know what we were, somewhere in the 20s in offense. We won ugly every game because we couldn't generate offense. Same thing with Milwaukee right now. They're winning ugly. Just win. Just win. Everybody, I think we're getting caught up in the aesthetics of it. Like we're getting points if you look good. You're getting points if you put it in the basket. Now, if you're making a point that moving the ball, moving your body makes it harder to guard, I agree with that, especially, in the playoffs, and more people touching the ball. There's more movement on your end, more movement on the defensive end. You're moving that defense from left to right. You're creating creases. You're creating driving lanes. Yes. I agree. But for those who are making a point just aesthetically because it doesn't look good, I can't get with that. And those who are making the point because their favorite players is not getting enough shots, I can't get with that. But those who are making the point that as a team, we're better and we're going to be harder to guard, I definitely agree with that. Don't get me wrong. I definitely agree with that. All I'm saying is on any given night, is going to look different. And you got to be able to win in different ways. This is the NBA. You got to be able to win in different ways. Even the Knicks losing leads. If you have The Athletic, there's a good article in there. I want to say it's by Fred Katz, but I'm not sure. But there's a good article in The Athletic. You need a subscription. That's a paid, you need a subscription to read the article. But it talks about how many teams in the NBA are losing big leads. That's basically the norm. Like, you can't expect to hold on to a 25 or a 20-point lead and win by 20. If there's a 24-second shot clock, that means you can't hold on to the ball. There's going to be more possessions, relatively speaking, if there wasn't a shot clock, right? And you got the 3-point shot. So it's happening all over the NBA. Teams are losing the league. It's the NBA. Guys are not going to go to sleep because you got a 20-point lead. They're going to try to ramp it up. So the idea is not to win by 20, that if you're up by 20, or win by double digits if you're up by double digits. The idea is to close the game out no matter what. Bend, don't break. That's the idea. And the Knicks haven't been that good with that. And last night I thought they were. So just in general, the Knicks led by as much as 25 points. Indy cut it to 2 in the fourth. But Indiana never led in this game, but they never gave up either. They kept coming. They were without Miles Turner. Tyrese Halliburton left in the third quarter. They did not give up in that game. They trapped, they blitzed, they went super small. They did everything they could to try to get back into this game. They threw the kitchen sink at the Knicks, right? And the Knicks, for the most part, handled it. That bend, don't break, mentality. So the Knicks responded multiple times in that game. So let's talk about the key good plays and the key not so good moments. The block by Randall on Mathurin in the fourth quarter, that was huge. The big three by Randall at the top of the key, that was huge. Clutch baskets by Brunson as usual, right? The layup or the floater over McConnell, the 3-point shot, huge basket by Grimes. In what I think it was 16 minutes left in the game, and as we talked about, that key pass by IQ that made it happen. Grimes running the clock out, and he was right underneath the basket. He could have laid it up the first time. He laid it up the second time, but that first time, RJ hitting both free throws with 16 seconds left. So I think Grimes' shot may have come a little earlier than that. RJ hit both free throws. All of those things showed the Knicks fight. All right, you've given us everything we can handle, and you've cut into this lead, and you cut it all the way down to 2. But we're gonna make enough plays to win this game. So just as a fan, you can look at it both ways. The glass half empty, the glass half full. To me, the glass half full. So the NBA, teams are gonna come back. You're gonna go cold at the time that they go hot. This is gonna happen. How do you respond? And I kept saying that when I was keeping my notes. They got it down to 14. How are the Knicks gonna respond? They got it to 9. How are the Knicks gonna respond? They got it to 2. How are the Knicks going to respond? And the Knicks answered the call every single time. And that's what I'm focused on. Now, there were also plays in the game in which I think the Knicks helped them get back into the game. The turnover by Randall on the pass to Mitch out of bounds. I don't know what that was. And, you can argue Mitch could have came for the ball, but it looked like it was passed at his toes. The goaltending call. The bad shots by Randall and RJ down the stretch. RJ's foul on the 3. Right when I thought this game, we're up by 7. I don't know how many. I think it was under a minute. I'm like, we're going to, all right, we're going to come out of here with the win. RJ fouls the 3-point on a 3-point shot. Now, bam, just like that, is back down to 3. right? Brunson's turnover on that spin move, right? He spun because McConnell was giving him the business defensively, and he turned. The big was right there for the steal. Fortunately, he rolled out of bounds. So the Knicks, down the stretch, they made some good plays to close it out, but they also made some plays that allowed Indiana to get back in the game. But like I always say, just win the game. You got the tape in front of you after the game is over so that you know what you need to get better at. But the best place to be in the NBA or any sport is to win while you're learning, right? To win while you're learning. All right. We talked about Grimes or quickly closing. The Knicks are 11-11 at home. And this is an interesting stat. They're the only team in the NBA with a winning record that is not over 500 at home. The good thing about it is, they can go on the road and get a win. The bad thing about it is teams can come into the Garden and get a win. So I think the Knicks have to get better at that. The bench to me is still a concern. Sherwin pointed it out. I just don't think unless we're gonna put Fournier, Rose, Cam back into the rotation, the guys that we do have in the rotation, that's 7 through 9, I don't think you're gonna get much from them if you increase their minutes. I think you're just gonna get more of the same, right? And I'm not taking anything away from what they do bring. I just don't think you're gonna get more from them with more minutes. So to me, the bench is still a concern. Brunson, in my opinion, has accelerated the Knicks timeline. This guy is really, really good, right? And I think the Knicks have an opportunity right now, if they put some other pieces around these 3 players, to open up their championship window, contending window. Now, do I think this team is a championship contending team? Absolutely not. So please do not misconstrue what I'm saying, okay? But what I am saying is when you get a player like Brunson, it cracks open your window a little bit that if you're the front office, you can say, you know what? If we get the right pieces in here, we might be able to become a championship contending team sooner than we thought if we get the right pieces, right? And that's the big if. And that's on the front office. This is the same thing that happened with Philadelphia. Oh, and Bram was the general manager. He came in, all of a sudden, Ben Simmons and Embiid started playing significantly better. And they looked like a good team. And he said, whoa, the time is now. He was thinking it was going to be another year or two. Like, wow, the time is now. I have to put some players around these guys. And I think that's where the Knicks are. As presently constituted, nah, I don't really see us getting very far in the playoffs as presently constituted. But I think Brunson has accelerated the window. That's all I'm saying. He's accelerated the Knicks timeline. And I think this is the time. And then if they can't, listen, I don't want the Knicks to go crazy. Don't get me wrong. I don't want the Knicks to go out and get LeBron James like we're going to make a championship run this season. That is not what I'm saying, right? But what I'm saying is you can start building a championship contending team if you go out and get the right players. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Knicks do. I don't think the Knicks have to do anything this particular season, right? If they do, I want them to do something that's going to help them this season and in the future. I don't want them to go out and just get somebody just so we can, somebody like a rental, per se, who's not going to be on the team, but it's just going to help us get further this year. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm still looking for a steady build. So if you can find someone this season that's going to be with us, for the next few years, I'm all for it. Don't do anything hasty. Like we're going to win a championship this year. We're not. The only thing I'm saying is that our timeline has moved up a bit. And now it's up to the front office to get, some more players around these top three. And that may not happen until the offseason. And I'm totally okay with that. And I think at some point, the Knicks may have to move off of one or two of our top three players to bring in a star. Maybe one. Because now with Brunson here, I was thinking that we needed two all-star type players. Maybe we just need one star and or superstar. Let me know what you think about that. Let me know if you think that the Knicks timeline has accelerated. Not that they're championship contenders, but that they can start building in that direction a little sooner now that Brunson is here. Be sure to, the Just Nicking It show every Thursday at 9 o'clock. Tonight, we're going to do mid-season grades. So we're going to go through every player. We're going to talk about them, the positive, the negatives, what grade you would give them for the season. I'll be checking in with the chat as I always do because I appreciate your point of view. So definitely, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button so you'll be notified when I go live for that show and for future shows. And I meant to upload it, but I didn't. I'm going to be doing a giveaway. I have a new logo. New York Knicks basketball is dope to the soul. So there's I'm going to do there's a way that you could put everybody who's in the chat into this app and pull out a name. So I'm going to do that tonight. And then, whether you want a t-shirt, you want a hoodie, you want a long sleeves, whatever you want, just let me know. Whoever the winner of that is, I will send it to you. You have to send me your address. Don't worry. I'm not going to show up at your door. But I did want to say that there was somebody in the chat. I don't know if it was in the morning show. I don't know if it was in the weekly show, who said something about dope to the soul, right? And I wrote it down and I lost it. And I wrote the person's name down because I knew I was going to use it and I lost it. So if you're that person, please reach out to me. Let me know it was you. It's going to ring a bell, right? So it's not going to be some random person who said, oh, it was me. I wrote it down. So I know it was one of the regulars who said it. So if you make yourself known, that will ring a bell. And then I'll also send something to you as well. All right. We're almost out of here. Knicks are 6th in the Eastern Conference. They're tied with Indiana Pacers. However, they have the tiebreaker 2-0 against the Pacers, so they're 6th. Washington, we play on Friday. They are 18-24, 12th in the Eastern Conference. So right now they're sitting outside of the playoffs and the play-in, 6-4 over their last 10. They won their last game. They're 21st in offensive rating, 16th in defensive rating, 24th in net rating, and none of that matters. Because we all know on any given night, any team can win. And on any given night, any team can lose, right? The last game, Porzingis was out. I don't know if he's going to play tomorrow, but they started Monty Morris, Corey Kispert, Denny Adija. I hope I said that right. Kyle Kuzma and Taj Gibson played because Gafford was also out. And I assume, this is not updated. I assume for us, it's going to be Brunson, Grimes, RJ, Randall, and Robinson. Now, I'm going to be at that game in Washington, D.C. at the NBK event. I'm not sure there's going to be a post game. I'm not sure there's going to be a pregame, I should say, on the NBK channel. I don't know. I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, are subscribed to the Nothing But Knicks channel. So if there is, you'll definitely get a notification, but I'm not sure about that. Thursday, of course, tonight, the Just Nicking It show. Saturday, if I do a morning recap show, it's going to be at 10. I got clients. I got a few clients at 9. So it'll be at 10. But I'll be doing it from the hotel. So I'm going to set my equipment up. I'll be on my laptop. I'll see how it looks. If it looks good, I'm going to go with the morning recap show. If it doesn't look good, I'm probably not going to go because I just want it to be a good experience for both of us. And sometimes if the lighting is not right, if the internet connection is not strong, it's just not a good experience. So in that case, I probably won't go on. So just stay tuned. If you subscribe to the channel, you'll get notified if I do go on. All right. Let's check in with the chat. Ashley Inc., appreciate you. Paris Duggar, I appreciate you. Almighty Finesse, Sherwin, J Boogie, Ron, still Knicks fans, appreciate you. Jeff Clafter, Stafford Don. Hopefully I see you tonight, Stafford. CC, I appreciate you. Sis, I appreciate you. Dewan Bates Bailey, thank you for joining me this morning. Almighty Finesse, always a pleasure. Keith Turner, Ajay. It's time for another head coach and some minor trades in order to go to the next level. I disagree, but we can talk about that more tonight if you're going to be on. I just want to make Spanish. Harlem, I appreciate you. Deron Wayne. Let's try to get to as much as I can. Sean Kearns, I appreciate you. Okay. Last year we had a great bench. This year we don't. However, our starting five is much better this year. Minute management for the player is my biggest knock on Tibbs. Starters are gassed in the fourth quarter. Listen, if we're gonna get them less minutes, I think the players to do it is just not on this team. Just want to make sure I got Jerrell D. MacGyver. Appreciate you always rocking with us. Deron Wayne, I may have said him already. James Glass, Keyshawn, JJ, I may have shouted you out already. Keith Turner, y'all know my condition. I can't hold all of this all the time. Jeff Clafter, Knicks Real Talk, I appreciate you as always. And you guys, if you haven't already, definitely subscribe to Devon. I met him on the MBK show. We started out together. We both have our own channels doing our own thing. I appreciate you, my brother. But if you haven't already, please subscribe to his channel, Knicks Real Talk. Peace, Devon. Hope all is well with you and your family. Cool Cal G, always a pleasure. Cormega, Shaw Legacy. I think that's it. I think I got everybody. If I didn't, y'all know my condition. Peace. I'll see you next time.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Don't stop.
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't stop.
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't stop.
What?
Don't stop.
What?
You're